Great news! You do not have to give up your favorite bread, sandwiches and pizza to follow a 100% paleo or ketogenic diet. Traditional bread is the #1 health danger in your diet and contains a hidden compound that makes it nearly impossible to burn fat and lose weight. That's why I invested 10 years of my life to create the world's healthiest bread. Today, I reveal the secret so you can enjoy delicious real bread without worrying about your health, your blood sugar, or your waistline. There are few foods more comforting and enjoyable than bread. Whether it is a warm piece of focaccia dipped in olive oil, a sandwich on a chewy baguette, a flaky croissant, or even the simplest slice of toast with butter. Just thinking about these foods makes your mouth water. And the blissful intoxication you experience when you eat bread is real. In fact, you might say bread is the original food addiction. Traditional bread produces compounds called gluteomorphins. And as their name implies, these compounds engage opioid receptors in your brain, the same receptors triggered by drugs like morphine and heroin. Very similar compounds, called casomorphins, are found in cheese. That would certainly explain the euphoric rush of pleasure you feel when biting into a crusty slice of pizza with bubbly, melted cheese. And just to make sure you keep coming back for more, the blood sugar spike you get from high-carb bread elevates dopamine, the craving neurochemical from which the word dope originates. Bread is a drug that causes a repetitive cycle of cravings for more bread. Our love affair with comforting and addictive bread is as old as recorded history. The Bible practically commands followers to eat it. Give us this day our daily bread. It was so revered in ancient Greece, the rest of the meal was called opsin, meaning condiment or bread's accompaniment. However, that fuzzy glow you feel when you bite into a slice of warm bread is short-lived. And, unfortunately, those few moments of toasty buttered bliss carry a heavy price. Well-known cardiologist, Dr. William Davis, calls wheat the perfect chronic poison. And for a poison, we sure eat lots of it. The average American consumes 55 pounds of wheat flour every year, making refined flour the #1 source of calories in the American diet. Functional nutrition expert, Chris Kresser, describes this as a public health catastrophe. And it's one you have likely experienced firsthand. Eating traditional bread can elicit a range of symptoms. It might make you feel sluggish and foggy-headed, or cause you to gain unsightly fat on your belly, butt and thighs, while packing deadly visceral fat around your internal organs. And part of the reason is because of the little-known compound that makes the glycemic index of wheat among the highest of all foods. You know how important it is to keep your blood sugar stable. Rapid blood sugar and insulin spikes promote a cascade of inflammation and oxidation. Triggering these forces over and over again dramatically increases your risk for cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, fatty liver, diabetes, macular degeneration, physical aging, wrinkles, and more. And did you know that wheat, including so-called healthy, whole wheat, spikes your blood sugar more than almost any other food, even when the same number of carbs is consumed? That's because 75% of the carbohydrates in wheat are in the form amylopectin A. This compound is unique because of how rapidly it is transformed to glucose. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, eating just 2 slices of whole wheat bread spikes your blood sugar more than drinking a can of soda, eating a candy bar, or helping yourself to 6 teaspoons of table sugar. 1. Don't be fooled by this common and deadly myth about bread. What you don't notice can hurt you. You're probably familiar with celiac disease. It is the most serious, and often life-threatening, sensitivity to grains that contain gluten. Many who suffer this condition cannot consume even the slightest speck of wheat without severe digestive pain, and other embarrassing symptoms. Other illnesses, like Crohn's and inflammatory bowel disease, also result in debilitating cramping, bloating and other digestive distress when wheat is consumed. Even if you can eat a 3-foot submarine sandwich without the slightest gurgle in your tummy, does not mean it is not hurting you. Even if you feel just fine after eating bread, every bite is causing silent damage to your gut, and quietly setting you up for serious disease. Dr. Alessio Fasano is a professor of medicine and distinguished researcher, with more than 240 peer-reviewed papers to his credit. His research, in addition to dozens of other scientists around the world, shows that wheat causes chronic gut inflammation. Compounds within it can also do direct damage to every tissue in your body. And you don't need certain genetics for the damage to occur. It happens to everyone who consumes it. Of course, the inflammatory protein we call gluten is partly to blame. In fact, the New England Journal of Medicine lists 55 conditions which can be caused by gluten, ranging from those as benign as canker sores to diseases as serious as cancer. 3. But gluten is only a fraction of the story, because traditional bread also contains the #1 greatest danger in the American diet. A study published in Plant Physiology shows that modern wheat is capable of producing at least 23,788 unique proteins, and any one of these can trigger an inflammatory response. 4. This is why some people react severely to wheat, but have no reaction to gluten, even in high doses. The most dangerous proteins in wheat are known as lectins, the primary compounds plants use to protect themselves from insects, bacteria, and fire. Lectins are actually designed to poison you. In fact, the poison known as ricin, deadly in amounts as small as half a grain of sand, is a lectin. Of course, most lectins won't kill you overnight, but they can make you very sick over time. Among the most dangerous is wheat germ agglutinin, WGA. Studies show that WGA is cardiotoxic, toxic to the heart and blood vessels 67. Immunotoxic, toxic to the immune system 8910. Cytotoxic, induces programmed cell death 11. Neurotoxic, toxic to nerves and brain tissue 121,314. It can exert these effects in minute concentrations, and just one kernel of wheat contains 16.7 trillion molecules of this toxic compound, 15. Just imagine the dose you get when you eat bread at nearly every meal. And don't forget, the highest concentrations are found in supposedly healthy, whole and sprouted grains. And if that's not enough, WGA is also the reason why it's nearly impossible to burn fat and lose weight when you're eating bread. You've probably heard of insulin as the fat storage hormone. When insulin and glucose levels are high, fat storage increases and fat burning stops. That's why high glycemic traditional bread is so effective at making you fat. But it gets even worse because studies show that wheat germ agglutinin is a dead ringer for insulin. 16. In fact, a report in the American Journal of Physiology proves that WGA bonds directly to insulin receptors, which increases fat storage and blocks your ability to burn stored fat. 17. And that's not the only way this killer compound in bread disrupts your hormonal function. WGA also blocks the hormone leptin. Leptin is extremely important when it comes to your appetite and weight. It is the molecule that tells your brain when it's time to eat, and when you've had enough. Can you imagine what happens to your body when your stop eating signal is broken? Most gluten-free bread may be worse for your health than the real thing. Most gluten-free bread, as well as cereals, crackers, cookies and other snacks, use ingredients that are not much better, or even worse, than those made with wheat. Like other processed foods, they usually contain chemical preservatives, soy protein, dough conditioners, inflammatory seed oils, corn and rice syrup, and often, GMOs. And in most cases, they also contain lectins. If your gluten-free bread contains flour made from rice, corn, beans, buckwheat, barley, rye, teff or quinoa, then it is loaded with gut-punching lectins you need to avoid. Some are even more dangerous than the lectins in wheat. That means your favorite gluten-free bread could cause the same health problems as traditional bread. And that's not all, because most gluten-free products will send your blood sugar soaring. In place of wheat, most gluten-free products and recipes use flours and starches with glycemic values that are off the charts. You're about to discover how you can have your bread. And be well too. Trademark. If all this bread bashing has caused you to swear off buns, biscuits and baguettes forever, I understand. After all, nothing is more important than your health. But it'd be a shame if you had to miss out on these simple and delicious pleasures forever. The great news is you don't have to. You don't have to give up your enjoyment of fresh baked bread. Even if you follow the ketogenic or paleo diet, you can still enjoy all your favorite breads. The ketogenic and paleo diets are wildly popular for good reason. Because they work. Millions of people have experienced radically improved health and faster fat loss by eating in a way that's grain-free, low in carbohydrates, and aligned with our ancestral genetic blueprint. Personally, I feel and look my best when I follow a paleo-ketogenic way of eating. I avoid foods our ancient ancestors didn't routinely consume, like grains. And I aim for a macronutrient ratio rich in healthy fats, moderate in protein and very low in carbohydrates. This way of eating can reprogram your metabolism, from a sugar burner to a fat burner. This is what makes keto so powerful for weight loss. It can also provide major health benefits, including protection against cancer, heart disease and diabetes. It improves hormonal balance and nearly every aspect of brain health. 21,222,324. And apparently our readers agree. Over the years, I've published dozens of articles and hundreds of recipes for the ketogenic diet. And every time, we receive unsolicited comments and emails from people who rave about the benefits. You don't have to choose between your daily bread and being healthy. You just have to choose healthy bread. What if you could enjoy real bread again, without worrying about your health or your weight? What if you could sink your teeth into a sandwich thick enough to make Dagwood proud, a chewy bagel, or a crusty piece of fresh-baked focaccia? And what if these delicious real food breads are grain-free, rich in healthy fats and very low in carbs? With bread like that you won't feel the need to cheat on your healthy diet. In fact, being able to enjoy healthy bread will help you stick to your best intentions. And I am not talking about second-rate imitations that don't measure up to the real thing. I mean divinely delicious bread, so good it could be served in a restaurant. I'm talking about some of the best breads you've ever tasted. With the same taste and fresh baked aroma you know and love. Put bread back on the table today. And bake your way to better health. Enjoy your favorite breads again without worrying about your health, your blood sugar, or your waistline. Check it out now. Get for more information below of the description. Lornephil.